Hi everyone, Diane Canfield here. I wanted to update everyone on some things that I have seen going on energy-wise in the ascension process. I have not been on, barely been on social media for the past 2 weeks or so. So I now have some free time to catch up. Part of the time that I haven't been on has been spent with clients because I am with clients 5 days a week, every week. But the other part of the time I was catching up with a lot of 3D things that had to be caught up with. Now, as many of you remember from my last video where I talked about on March 10th, and I talked about the massive head activations that came in, the crown chakra activations, and I talked about them all on this side of the head. Now, many people misunderstood what I was saying, and for some reason afterward they asked me about the pain on the side of the head, and there was no pain. Activations, when I talk about activations, this does not mean pain. Okay, activations, and especially crown chakra activations, those are tingling and goosebumps. So if you as everyone knows, the way you get goosebumps over your certain parts of your body or your entire body, or vibrations in certain chakra centers and parts of your body, as I've talked about before, that's what this is. So my whole side of the head was vibrating and tingling and goosebumps, and it was the whole side of the head. And that, again, was on the video that I made on March 10th. So this was the biggest activation that we've had in a long time, and we have not had this big of an activation since then. Now, we have had other energy coming in, but it has been more low-key since that time. Now, a lot of people ask me, what do you do if you don't feel anything? And if you don't feel any waves, if you don't feel any ascension energy coming in? And a lot of people who have come to my page and followed me and comment on the articles that I write and comment on my videos, pretty soon they have started to feel the activations coming in. And this is because many of the activations people might have felt, but they didn't know what they were. So they might have felt for some time, but they didn't know what they were. So this is one way to become knowledgeable about what the activations and energy surges and uploads and downloads that we get are. What are they, and if they're happening to you or not. And it's just to increase your knowledge, increase your awareness, and increase your consciousness on what these activations really are and how they manifest in the human body. So if you come to my Facebook page or watch my videos, you'll have a better understanding of what they are, and then you can see if you're experiencing them for yourself. Now, some people, like I said, they say, but I don't feel like I've ever experienced them. Okay, well, some people actually might have not ever experienced them. And if you've never experienced them, it doesn't mean you're experiencing them all the time and don't know it. Yes, there's a certain amount of people that might be experiencing them and don't know it, but then there could be another group of people that have never experienced them at all. So you have to work with yourself or work with somebody like me and figure out if that is the case or not. Now, if you're too much in 3D and your vibration isn't high enough, you may not experience yet any activations that come in. But if you're working on yourself, doing the inner work on yourself, removing your blocks, removing your barriers, removing your programming, removing your conditioning, removing your illusions, and not satisfied to be one step in 3D and one step in the spiritual world, then you can make progress. Now, some people still have one step in the spiritual world and one step in 3D, and that's okay. You know, some people have to work a regular job and they have to make a living, but you don't need to be invested in 3D, and you don't need to do all the things that the 3Ders would do all the time. That is, the things that are normal for a 3D person that they don't have higher awareness of, that they're not paying attention to. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, except that, you know, we all were there at one time. We were all in the 3D world without any awareness of our actions, without any awareness of what led to what, without any awareness of the connections that are made, without any awareness of the higher realms, without any awareness of the connection with the higher realms and how that manifests for us. So to be fully in the spiritual world is to take all your feet out of the 3D world, which means doing all the 3D things that are acceptable, but maybe not acceptable in the spiritual world. So this is to mostly be in the spiritual world at least, 70% of the time. Now, it doesn't mean you can't go into the 3D world and do things. Yes, I do things. I think I talked about this on my last video. I go have fun in the 3D world. That's one of the main reasons ways to keep your vibration high, is to be happy and have fun and go into the 3D world and do these things. But when you go into the 3D world from a higher awareness, it's different than being in the 3D world when you did not have this awareness. So for me, when I go into the 3D world, I know what I'm doing there. I have a higher awareness. I know what's happening to me. I know what connections are being made. I know my effect on other people. I know other people's effect on me. And that's what makes the huge difference. So I'm aware of everything that goes on around me and what it could mean, and I'm paying attention to everything that goes on all the time. And if there's any signs or things coming in for me, I'm aware of them. Whereas regular people in the 3D that have not stepped into the spiritual world, they will not see the connections that are being made there. They will not have the higher awareness to see everything that's going on and see how other people are interacting with them and notice all the small things that we in the spiritual world will take notice of. So now, for the people, if you felt activations and then you don't feel it for a while, that's completely normal, because we don't have activations every day, and I've talked about this many times. There's a certain amount of misinformation out there, and we just do not get activations every day because the human body could not handle that. We need rest periods in between. So then everybody is not at the same level of awareness either. So I encourage people to raise their vibration up to close to what my vibration is, and then they will feel things that I talk about at the same exact time. And they will go through the rest periods at the same exact time. And otherwise, many people are playing catch up. I talked about when I first started tracking the waves, and this was back in 2009, 2010. And I was really tracking the waves because there wasn't that many people that were feeling anything at that time. So I could easily track what was going on. And I felt a huge activation, and no one that was around me felt it in the spiritual community, felt it at that time. Yet a group of people felt this same exact activation a month later. So I know from my own tracking and my own experiences in the spiritual community and being an ascension expert, that this is what could happen, is that many people play catch up and experience things later than other people. So this is just a, normal occurrence, and everything is fine. Everything is fine in that aspect. But it's good to know what's going on ascension-wise, what's going on waves, because what's going on with downloads and uploads, because the more you're in truth, the more you exist in the awareness of truth, the more you will be able to feel the waves. Now, if you want to feel more activations, you have to raise your vibration, and you have to be in the awareness of truth. That's where you have to exist. So the more you're in the awareness of truth, the more you will feel. So I started my search for truth back in the year 2000. So it's been relatively easy for me to be in the awareness of truth, because I've always been in the awareness of truth since the year 2000. So that was how my search started, is that I was tired of the 3D world. I couldn't exist in that world anymore, and I had to make a change. So I made the change in searching for what was real in this reality. Why was I in this reality? What is the truth to this reality? What are the connections to this reality? And how does this reality connect with the other realms? Because it does. It does connect with the other realms. So this is the search that I went on. And how it connects with the other realms is there's an overlapping that takes place. And this is why people like me, who are also a medium, can connect with other people's passed on loved ones. And this is why some of you can connect with your own loved ones who have crossed over, is that this world interfaces other dimensions, and there's, what you might call bleed-throughs or interfaces that come through with other dimensions. And so my search was always about the subconscious mind, the superconscious mind, the conscious mind, and how these all interact with other dimensions, and how we can become more powerful in this dimension. And that has always been my search and always been my goal. And that is still my goal. And this is how I help other people, because I help them become aware of, what their own search, and how they empower themselves, and how they themselves can go on their own search, and how they can raise their own consciousness, and how they can raise their own awareness, so that they can become more and more empowered person in this reality. And when you're a more empowered person in this reality, you take this with you no matter what reality you go to after this. If it's through ascension or normal passing, you take this higher awareness with you. So nothing is ever lost. No progress that you ever make here is ever lost. Now, I could talk on and on about that forever, but, this isn't, I have other things I need to get to on the video. Now, the past week or so, we've been experiencing dizziness again. So I will get up and I'll move around a little bit and stuff, and then all of a sudden I'll be extremely dizzy, and I'll be like, whoa, and feel like I'm about to fall over. So this has happened to me probably 3 times every day in the past week or so, and maybe starting into maybe 2 weeks now. All right, so this is completely normal as to what's going on ascension-wise. And I have also noticed extreme time slips, where suddenly I'll look at the clock and an hour will be gone, and that hour seemed to disappear into nothing. And no, this is not a 3D time slip. This is a 5D and above time slip. So we're not talking about, for the people in 3D, oh, that happens to me all the time. I read a book and pretty soon the time's gone. No. This is far different than that. Things I talk about are far different than the 3D type thing. So this is an advanced time slips that have been actually going on for the past couple weeks now. And excuse me, some of you may have noticed this yourself. And I've noticed this over and over again, especially the past week. It's been really extreme. Suddenly, time is just missing, and it seems like nothing happened during that time. It should have been maybe 15 minutes, and instead it's an hour to an hour and a half, and that is highly unusual. So with this huge activation we had on March 10th, I'm not surprised that this now is going on, because things are always speeding up, and this works on top of each other. So the more things, these activations come in, like what happened on March 10th, the more these things work and build on each other, and the more we can experience other realities where there is no time, because that's what we're going into, and I've been talking about this for so many years. We're going into the aspect of zero time now. All right, so let's see what else. Oh yeah, okay, on my list I have here. All right, so now with this activation that came in on March 10th was an action-oriented timeline shift. So you may have felt, this is what I have felt since March 10th. I felt very action-oriented. And if you haven't felt this, you will feel this sometime soon. Because everybody will feel everything. It's just a matter of when, depending on what their level of vibration is. So I have been very action-oriented on things that I may have put off in the past or not wanted to do. Maybe things that weren't that pleasant for me, 3D type things, I have now done, and I have been accomplishing, and I have been working on all these things without any issue anymore. So all the things that were put off can now be dealt with and can be accomplished. And the focus and intention has really been extreme. And this is a very, very good thing and a very nice thing, because you can get so much done now without having to think about this. You just go, like with me, I just go and I accomplish it, and I just get it done, and it's so nice and easy. So this will be the other thing that you may have noticed starting to kick in since March 10th. So just to I'm just going to summarize everything. March 10th, we had the huge activation come in, which was crown chakra tingles and goosebumps. Okay, now this brought in action-oriented downloads for us, which is what I've been doing. I'm not sure about anyone else because I haven't really been online. I've been doing these action-oriented things and taking care of my clients. So I know some my clients have been telling me too that they have been working on things, getting things done just like me. Now, the other thing that we've had in the past few weeks have been extreme time slips and dizziness. And that has been what has been going on. We did have about 2 weeks of high solar wind. We did not have any geostorms during this time. I don't know if I have it. I did write it down. Let's see. Well, I can't find the little piece of paper now that I wrote down on, but I tracked all the high solar wind, and it was very odd because this doesn't usually happen. We don't usually have high solar wind that goes on for weeks at a time with no geomagnetic storms. So some people who might have thought there was activations coming in, this may have been what they felt, because high solar winds can cause different anomalies to take place, and they can cause people to feel differently, and they can cause, certain activations and downloads and upgrades. So it was very odd that there was no geomagnetic storms, but just high solar wind. And I have, in all my years of tracking this, I have never seen this before. So this has been a little odd. And I, of course, just like everything else energy-wise, I am keeping track of it. And I do let everybody know what's going on when there's been anything massive, just like on March 10th. So if you don't hear from me, that could mean that there are subtle things going on, but nothing massive. So I'm updating now because I haven't been updating for a while. and I want everyone to know what's going on energy-wise. So that is all for on my list for today. And I will update everyone as things continue. And I love everyone. And I have most of my 3D things now done. So I will have more time to be writing articles and be making videos and be back on social media updating everyone again. So we will talk later, and I will see everyone later. And if you want to, you can visit my website, which is dianecanfield.com, and this is where I do personal sessions, and this is where I write all my articles, and this is where I'll be posting this video. So, love you all.